Okay, so reference angle, highlight the hypotenuse, highlight the adjacent side, We want cosine of 30, cosine of 40, cosine of 60. Oh, up here, 60-degree angle. So 60 degrees, because that's 30. Okay, hey, I just dived right in, so let's get started. What I've done is I'm going to answer question 8, and I'm going to find out what the cosine of 30 is. Should say 30 degrees. And then I'm going to figure out what the cosine of 45 degrees is. And then last of all, I'm going to circle back to cosine 60 and do that one last. All right, so it's a ratio. Cosine is a ratio of the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. So that would be 4 square root 3 over 8. And if you have the 4 and the 8 as a fraction, then they can be reduced. There are 1 4 in a 4, but there are 2 4s in an 8. So this reduces to 1 times root 3 over 2. That's the exact answer. When we comment on an exact value, that's what we're talking about. Now let's go ahead and do the cosine of 45 degrees. So I highlighted the adjacent in the wrong spot. Whoops. This is not the adjacent. That's the opposite side, and this is the adjacent because the reference angle is up here. So I'm going to do a quick adjustment, typo if you don't mind. This is the opposite side to that angle. It still is the same number, though. That's the nice thing about cosine. About 45, 90-degree triangles. The adjacent side and the opposite side are going to be the same. So what we can do now is write the fraction adjacent over hypotenuse. And since both of those have an 8 in the top and bottom of the fraction, they reduce to 1 over square root 2. And if you watch that YouTube short where you have a square root on the bottom, I show you how to rationalize the radical denominator. And you do that by multiplying the bottom and the top by the radical, which means you wind up getting root 2 over 2. It's totally fine to put this as an answer, but sometimes our tests still have root 2 over 2. It's an ancient technology thing. We're moving past it as we move into the computer age more and more and more. This is an acceptable answer, but people still cling to this one, so you're going to have to at least be aware of it. Now, cosine of 60 degrees. Cosine 60 degrees. If 60 degrees is that angle, then the adjacent side is the one right next to it, and the hypotenuse is still the 8. But we have to now make a fraction out of those two sides because 60 is the reference angle. So that would be 4 over 8. Come on, that's a half. You know that. There they are. The exact answers for special right triangles. These are special right triangles. And you gotta know those 3 fractions. Not just for geometry for this class, for me for right now, but for Algebra 2, for Pre-Calc Trig, for Calculus. This page right here has lasting impact. So at least, don't sleep on it, recognize that you need to know it, and know that you're gonna come back and talk about it for at least 3 more years. Woohoo! We love math. Okay, a guy wire is 600 feet long and forms a 55-degree angle with the ground. I don't see that. I don't see it drawn on this page. So you know what we're going to do? Draw it. If you paid attention in the getting started, you'd understand that a radio tower is vertical. It forms a 90-degree angle with the ground. And then the guy wire is the wire that connects the ground to the mast of the radio tower. The information in this problem says that the guy wire is 600 feet long because it's the hypotenuse. And it forms a 55-degree angle with the ground. So you should be drawing all of the notation, the numbers, the information, the triangle, labeling it, putting all of that into our problem. Calculate the number of feet from the mast's base to where the wire attaches to the ground. This is unknown. This is 600. Let's write a cosine ratio. It's cosine because it's going to be adjacent and hypotenuse made into a fraction. Cosine 55 degrees equals the unknown. Let's use x. I mean, come on now. We're able to understand variables. X divided by 600. Solve for x by multiplying both sides of the equation by 600. That'll reduce the 600 over here. And now we go to the yellow calculator. I'm going to use my phone. We're going to do the iPhone. I'm going to go, hang on a second here, calculate, turn it sideways. We're going to go 55 cosine times 600. That's the proper way to key it in. Did you see it? 55 cosine times 600. The base of the radio mast to where the guy wire attaches to the ground is 344 feet. X equals 344.15 feet. Right? Once again, this is how I calculated it. I work backwards. I got to go 55 cosine times 600. Thank you for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. Remember, cosine is the adjacent side to the hypotenuse.